Hello.
Welcome to DevKami, number 120. I'm swimming.
I am Tristan.
I'm Chiliong.
And yes. So who's excited about the Apple releases?
The one that I tease a lot is the AirTag, but it's good for those people that like to lose their stuff.
AirTag, I like the idea of AirTag in a way.
It's not new. Sony used to push their NFC and Bluetooth tracking before as well.
Correct. And also, it's one of those things that it works, but Apple can do extra thing in a
The
way
one that might also
integrate.
excite some content creators, the podcast subscription.
Yep, that is also interesting. We probably won't use that anytime soon because we don't have that many people that want to pay us anyway. Just 300 of you guys, if you're lucky.
I like the iPad Pro one. So
With
they
M1.
yeah. Well, actually, the Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt is the one that's. I mean, they can have the A series, etc. It's the Thunderbolt connector that makes it very versatile. It should have been there from like when Thunderbolt was
And also
there.
and also for the iPhone as well, right? Supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep on using that Lightning correct connector. Maybe they manufactured a lot of those chips and then they're just like getting rid of it.
My complaint is the cable quality is horrible for a Lightning connector. Like it's so brittle.
Yeah.
Well, it depends, I guess, on the Apple ones are very bad. Well, they
very brittle.
but the third party ones that are Thunderbolt compatible, they're actually quite good.
Yeah, that's the irony, right?
But I don't know why Apple has like
the official one is a skinny cable that you get that will self-degrade in 2 years time.
Yeah.
For you to buy.
I don't know. It's horrible. Like you just keep it like in sunlight for a few days and it's yellow and the rubber like or whatever.
And the breakout
thing
like,
it is.
mine just degraded on its own.
I don't know.
To be honest, I don't own Apple product for a while. After my last job with the MacBook, and I decided that it's just okay. Not my primary choice of computer.
Oh, I won't mind it.
I don't mind
M1 right now.
I can use it, but it's just that it's just a computer. I know people find it weird, like it's just a computer.
For me, my concern is always at mainly the after sales support and also the battery power.
Correct. So that one they do a bit better than most manufacturers.
If you buy the warranty lah.
Yeah, correct. So that's the main thing they try to that's actually a bit better. To me, I just like to hack my computer, that's all. And let me share my screen. Actually, something wrong just now. Oh, funny. Okay, here you are. Actually, there's actually some event soon. There is not on the calendar. We have the Junior Dev Meetup, which I don't know when. Let me find it. Let me find it. Goodness. Junior Dev. Yep, we find it. So we have something on, and it's not even updated on the website. Oh my goodness.
It's okay.
Yeah. So the event exists. I just don't remember when. So the two events that makes sense within this week is, that will happen within these 2 weeks is Junior Dev and I think DevOps is really done. So yeah.
DevOps is it was yesterday, I think.
Yes. So I think with that said, I think that's about it for events. So let's go to the next one. The next one is we're going to. It's not blocked. What the hell am I thinking? I did change my mouse.
And also these days where the engineers mind are on Discord as well.
Yes. So the first one is one thing I noticed that there's not a lot of Apple news down here. So
Yeah.
Just because lah.
I think more like I think it's more like they opens up make their data center available for the Microsoft one. I
yeah, the
remember
Microsoft one.
they've been doing that for quite a number of years already.
Yeah. So this one is interesting because certain ministers used to say that Malaysia don't have a data center investment. Well, this proof otherwise. And also Malaysian company, big Microsoft customers. I do not know how big, but it's, primarily here is Microsoft business people. So it is what it is lah. So, and this actually aligns with Digital Malaysia. So, which is why they got a big initiative and all that. So they have the together with Malaysia, and this is actually coordinated with the Malaysian government and is part of the Digital Malaysia initiative. So this is interesting to me. So, and also apparently a generic job. So you happen to get a nice job there, tell us. I want to know. Let's start with the next one. So this is
actually no. Before we continue, are they going to sponsor DevOps because they now have a data center in Malaysia?
Apparently, there are some drama happen with the Azure sponsorship thing. So
yes.
I don't think it's gonna be move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's mismatched expectation between.
Correct.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Yes, because the primary business in Malaysia is a bit more enterprise than the community. So this one is actually is a framework to write documentation. So it's mostly guides and tools, and I think this is a big deal because recently I realized that how important documentation in one team is, and you can't expect to call someone all the time or email everywhere. So you need a central repository for this. So yeah, I think this is actually a good start. And I think documentation is actually very underrated among us. What you guys think about this?
Well, documentation is like designing a good API. There's an art to it. So there's a way to make documentation not tedious, like to have. It's almost like a librarian job. You'd think that librarians are these people. They don't do much, but they actually do a lot. They do a lot of organization. So writing documentation is actually very, very important.
Correct. And you can't expect developer to read source code all the time. So digital documentation is pretty a big deal. So anything to add on this? No, let's move on. Official Apple M1 release for Docker. So if you need it, it's available now. So yeah, it's official. So
but did you try it, Tristan?
No, because not the latest release, but I'm okay with the one of the previews. But it's okay. I mean, the Docker is using QEMU, so this is one of the very few ways you can run x86 on the M1.
Okay.
Like an actual x86 binaries, like Linux binaries, for example, because it uses QEMU, and then if you have like an Ubuntu operating system, let's say, that's compiled for x86, then it works. Like, for example, if you're running Parallels, then you still are limited to ARM, like ARM operating systems. You can't run a proper x86 distribution on Parallels.
Yeah. So we need it, do it, and I think it's a good thing because more choice for hardware. So yeah, I have my opinion.
It's okay, but the problem with the M1 is that you can't get more than 16 gigs of memory. So it's really not, even if you can run Docker, you still are very limited with memory. So because you have Docker, right? And then it's running as a VM, and then you can't run as many of your images because you will run into a memory limit.
Yeah, correct.
And so that it doesn't really make sense so much right now. Maybe when you have a 32 gigs machine, then that would work better. But as of right now, it's good, but it's not really. It's still really not a substitute for a good, let's say, Ryzen laptop, where you can actually do a lot of development.
And I'm going to move on. So actually, Cloudflare released a lot of stuff. I think one of the bigger one is actually the Cloudflare pages.
Yep.
So this is actually an alternative to Netlify. So on one hand, this is actually an abuse of Cloudflare because they own the network, therefore it's easy for them to. Once you had an edge server, then it's easy for you to build a gem site. So I'm just going to step to that. But if you're already on the Cloudflare ecosystem, which many people already at least one step there as the CE end user, so it's something that available for you lah. So and of course it's limit, nothing is free, but if you want to try out, please do, and if you did try out, tell us. It's not something that we're going to move very soon, but if it's very compelling, maybe we will. Anything interesting you on this?
No, I've been a bit disconnected in a way for this.
Yeah. Cloudflare also had a developer event for the past weeks or so, or what is it, 1 week before? That one that they released a lot of stuff. For example, they had a tunnel for a secure connection for outside, so they can actually talk to your SSH. So this one, and there's a NVIDIA powering one of their edge work, their serverless workers. So that's also interesting because they actually have some very good demo. So yeah, some interesting stuff if you manage to catch Cloudflare news. So next one is Grafana, Loki, and Temple will be licensed. So yeah, they licensed to AGPL and updating their contributor license agreement. So anything to add? If not, I move on.
It's part of the recent move. It's either to AGPL or to Common Clause lah. But
Yeah. So yes.
Because their business line, for some businesses, it's easy to adapt, to use and adapt, and then some businesses lah, either I think along the line of Bongo, it's because their core business is to offer consultation and services and support. So for people that, if the case of what happened is that you have cloud providers that provide these services, and then they just in a way just directly eliminated some of the need for that, especially when they are not paying the support license to that. So it cut off their livelihood for some projects.
Correct. So yeah. So something to think about if you use Grafana, and a lot of people will do. So I'm going to move on. So the last item on that interests me is actually there's a WSL now have enable you to run GUI application. It used to be something that you have to install.
I remember they did something that allow for the especially for the machine learning one, that they allow the graphic driver, right, to run on
yes.
So now they just expand it to just GUI works directly from WSL.
Correct. So what this does is tradition. Not too long ago, you had to set up your own X server and all the thing, and you had to do some work to make this work on your Linux machine, on Windows, on WSL. This one means you have default support. So even though the Ubuntu they install now is Ubuntu server, so what you do is you install your your Geo application, they will install X server, then you can use RDP. So for example, they use RDP, then the Windows had a application that actually integrate with it. So now you get Geo application actually running inside your virtual machine. So it's actually RDP based actually. So it used to, I think, if you install it on Ubuntu right now, you will install all the supporting things like the X server and all that. Or VLAN, not really X server, VLAN. So they can do the thing. This one is also interesting because they support all the media things. So for example, if you have to do some sound recording or that, you can do that. So, and you also get, and more importantly, you also get the computational tools for that as well. So this one is previously this the 3D is actually for use for CUDA application. So let's say you have I'm going to make a cool example. ROS, the robot operating system on. Let's say you have a robot operating system code that you use on Linux that you want to run on your WSL. You can do that right now. So this is actually one of the cool reasons why you want to use this lah. So yeah, I think that's all from last corner. Anything to add before I move on?
There's quite a lot of news happening.
Yes, I kind of curate a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, so let's go through like some of the news update. Is UK government intervenes of the NVIDIA takeover of ARM. So and also you share that there's this project from Samsung called Samsung Upcycling where you turn your old Samsung phone. Actually, for me, those phones are not that old.
Yes.
Into IoT devices. But I would like to see how they are going to implement it. Like, are they going to strip out most of the functionalities of the phone operating system? Because there's still quite, for me, creepily a lot of things that runs in the back end, especially the telemetry that runs in the background. So how would that be addressed? So
correct.
So that the rest, that's about it. I think.
Yeah. Then of course the Apple releases, which I think is interesting because Apple control the ecosystem, therefore they can do more things.
I would like to see what's gonna happen soon in other sector, because often when Apple start to do it by scale, the other will sort of follow.
Correct. So yeah. So let's move on to our technology radar. So we had a new technology radar because it's a new quarter.
Every quarter.
Choose one.
I have a problem that like it's that I have issue of recollecting the word quarter. Sometimes I have a habit of calling it a season. So every season, even though you don't have season even.
Yeah, because in Malaysia we only have monsoon or not monsoon.
Yeah.
And also is the quarter is not really clear because spring is in April, right?
Not that depends also.
Yeah, and the season is some season is 1 month or so. So yes. So choose one. Which one you want to go?
I think the most directly one will be either platform tools. I think Technique will be a way out of touch for us.
Let's go platform then. Let's find platform. Platform is orange.
Technique is a bit hard to talk about, but I see there are some techniques that were being recycled.
Yeah, nowadays I'm a bit more high level nowadays. Not because I'm doing more.
High level is good.
Yeah. So the first one is the AWS Cloud Development Kit. What do you guys think? Can you guys use it?
I don't know. I'm not on AWS.
Interesting. I always thought you are. I always thought you are.
No, I'm not a cloud person.
So recently I have to use the cloud, even though I'm a dinosaur.
Yes.
Not just literally, as in I know COBOL, but so what I found out that this kind of cloud page for the past few episodes have been things like AWS is their own monster, right? I've been saying that again. and you think that your server is a monster to manage, AWS is their own monster. It's not easier, it's not harder. It's their own thing, right? It's so I would say it's something like this. If traditional server are like dinosaurs, then AWS is like the it's like the it's like the it's called
I think
the
AWS is
Like the
like
modern day birds. Is that what you're
no
saying?
no it's actually
oh,
predator birds.
no, I want to say AWS is like its own village
Yeah, correct. So that would be like the
ecosystem.
megafauna of the ice age. Okay, that is how I would say
It's
it.
another dimension. It's
Yes,
more,
correct,
yeah. It's off dimension. It's its own world where
correct. So
everything has its own offering.
correct.
If you can think of it,
So
there's an AWS offering.
correct. So and that some of the tools occupy the same ecosystem. So as a result, you have their own sort of complexity. So for example, one of the thing like this. So if you look at the screen I shared right now, they have something that work around connecting the VPC and cluster. So the VPC is the private network, and then they set up the different cluster for their services and all that.
So
So
this is
uh,
to cut off the like to reliance of third party like Terraform and stuff, so you can directly
I got a
script.
feeling. I got a feeling Terraform may use something like this and do a bit more for this.
Okay.
So this gives you the power. So because otherwise you would have to find out individual API and do your own thing and hopefully automate your stuff properly.
Terraform is actually a bit more, but these days that I see the usage is mostly people just use it on AWS.
Correct.
But it's actually meant to be a bit more. Even works on bare metal.
Correct. So one day I may try this because I got a feeling I may have to do more operation now. Just because something that I'm looking forward to try. Anything you guys want to add on? If not, I'm move on to the next one.
Not really.
Backstage. I have no idea what is backstage.
I don't know what is that. I'm technically a dinosaur, so
yes, and a complaint I'm the dinosaur. Right?
I don't know why there's people that thought that I'm the bleeding edge guy.
People think of me as the same one, so I keep telling. I have to tell people. I
don't even use cloud.
Yeah, I'm from a traditional background.
Yeah. I mean,
so this is
that's the one that I need to clarify.
Yeah. So this is actually a service catalog. So I do not know what this means, to be honest. So this is actually something to manage your services.
Oh, okay.
And
so
library. Okay, so
what is it? Service catalog. Like I don't know. I really understand it.
Okay, so here's what I think. Here's what I think. So this is actually it's literally a catalog, but it's not really just for service. It's for whatever that you try to that is available. So for example, recently in my current job, I discovered that there is some service, there's some Lambda that is not on GitHub, so I had to hunt for it. And we don't have a center place for me to find it. This actually by soft form where I complain. So this is actually it's like a phone book that what service that is available, right? It's a service directory. So what is available for your team, which Lambda, and apparently they also do software components like libraries. So let me look at this.
The funny thing is, I don't really understand what is it about. Probably you have to come back to it later.
Yeah, but I understand the reason. The reason is when you build a lot of microservices, you do not know who do what.
Oh, okay. So it's between what? Okay. It's yeah. I don't know.
So I'll go a bit deeper before I move on. So let's say you have a team that build a lot of stuff. So you have some people that build machine learning models. You have the data guys build machine learning model, take your data in, and you build various services to support the business. And sometimes you don't have one place that shows you what library is being used, what service
Okay.
is being used. Do you have a LDAP server somewhere?
Or
For
what
example.
sort of service is that is being deployed, and where
Correct,
is it?
correct.
Something like that.
So it's a phone book for your services, lah, because otherwise you would have to hunt down your GitHub repository and see is it deployed, and you better hope the you have enough documentation to say that it's deployed on
I
there.
think from it's something that I think I would like, but I need to know about the implementation details first.
Correct.
Sometimes they feel like they only work with when you're into that whole ecosystem. But
Correct.
if especially for when we are doing bare metal deployment, is that we pick and choose our ingredients. So I would say it's an ingredient.
Mhm.
So some of these parts might not fit directly. So I need to check it
Correct.
out. Interesting. At least somebody is trying to solve it.
Yep. So the next one is this is actually a storage. I don't even know what the hell is a lake house architecture. There got so many buzzwords. I think this is actually your storage.
So now you have for your data lake.
Now you had a house for your data lake. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, previously you have now you have a data ocean.
Then you have an oil rig for your data. You had a data rig.
I think this one need to revisit. I think some of this need to. I think that let's go to the tools that are or language that are easily more
let's go
relatable
to
to us
tools.
first.
Yes. Platform is weird to me.
Weird Sentry.
Our Sentry we know is Sentry. Sentry is a monitoring tools. It used to be a Python-based thing, so that you
Yeah.
automatically push your exception.
I've seen it, but I never tried it out.
We tried it; it's a bit too expensive, so we didn't go through it. But it's actually seamless.
Okay.
And yeah, I remember seeing them in PyCon, Singapore, and all that. It's a cool service. It's a very cool service. It's just a bit expensive for us at that time.
Okay.
One of my old day job, not here. So they don't just capture exception. They used to only capture exception, but they do a bit more now. And they actually put it on dashboard. So there's various type of it. This is actually one of many. So Sentry is one of those. So yeah, anything you want to add? I think this Sentry is pretty standard.
Yeah. Xcore, I don't know what that is.
I don't even know what is that. Why the hell you have so many names for different things?
There are a lot of new stuff. Like I think it's a right moment to show like
Put this way,
we're not too hip also in a way. Sorry.
I'm happy with Mate. All right.
I'm sorry to disappoint.
The problem, I guess, is that these platforms are super complicated. That it takes third parties to write all of these things instead of just making things easy to use, right, from the first party itself. Like other people I can do better. I can use like this.
Yeah, I think the Tristan statement actually trigger I think it's like a team where they don't work together. So like I need to test, so I'm gonna write my tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is interesting because it's accessibility testing tools for website.
My website definitely fail accessibility.
Yeah. So previously people do that because they do not know how to set up the compliance.
I think the upcoming trendy Flutter also gonna fail accessibility horribly.
Correct.
Because we can't even copy and paste the text because it's not text. It's a rendered graphical UI.
On the other hand, the banks love it, lah.
They're gonna love it with the virtual keyboard and stuff.
Correct. So I'm interested in this one because I believe that we should make things more accessible. Yep. Even though I suck at making this, but we have a test suite now.
I like some of for me the test suite, the golden example of test suite is that remember last time we have an XHTML, right?
Yep, correct.
Like those are the good test suite. We don't even have to manage it ourselves. Just something that run against it and give us a score. I think that's
So this one that will actually set up right. This is one that you can run.
Yeah.
So probably not a bad idea.
Yep.
I like it. I like this idea. I do not know whether I will
Okay.
use it. I probably push for it soon. So
I
yeah.
heard about DBT a lot from the data folks.
I think we covered that last year. It's a
Yeah.
data build tools
Yeah.
to bundle.
So we covered that
data.
last year. No, not last year, last quarter. So
Correct,
let's
correct.
skip it. ES build. What is
Get
that?
another build system.
For JavaScript.
Yes.
Again,
Switching goal.
like every
JavaScript
year,
has
there's
to-
a
Come on. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm happy with Yarn.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
GB
say-
I
Yarn.
think Yarn was like the like NPM was okay, and then Yarn improved on it. And even if NPM
Yeah.
is they say is better now, that you have a lot of these build systems.
No,
I don't think
I'm not gonna switch. Like I'm not. Put this way, like it took us some time to migrate to like the latest. We only migrated to Node.js recently. No, React in recent years because we were using the old ways of doing it. It's not like there's a problem, but it can be the main point is that React.js, I cannot deny that it's easy to share code like components.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
when
By
you
the way,
do it that way.
Yarn is not a good comparison here, because Yarn is a package manager. This is a build
Yeah.
system. So if you scroll up a bit, Swimming, there's actually comparisons. You have parcel. What doesn't mean that there's a lot of build systems. You have parcel,
Yes.
Webpack, you have rollup, and then of course now ES build.
Yeah, I'll just
I don't
use
understand.
I'm on the React ecosystem. I just use whichever that React provides. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't even eject my React projects. I don't even want to manage Webpack.
To be honest, I don't care if it take less than a second to build. But okay, so.
Yeah.
But if you need the speed, you should check it out. You should check.
Yeah. I'm in terms of front-end development, I'm just a consumer.
Yes. Oh, I pressed something wrong. So let's move on.
Let's go
I
for
kind of want to see the
Flipper has some comments because we are on the React ecosystem. Flipper is the one that like a debugger for React Native, but I think it's still a bit rough, and it relies. And the one that they didn't mention is actually you need Hermes, which is the new JavaScript engine from React, the JavaScript core. The problem is a lot of the native extension doesn't work well with the Hermes runtime. So I don't know. In the long run, the plan was to really move to, if there's no improvement, it's actually Flutter is definitely the de facto going to be. There's not much of like sentimental values for us on this ecosystem, because we just want whatever that works the best and doesn't give us more trouble. I mean, if my concern is simple, like easy to do rapid changes, and also how easy to upgrade, because on mobile there's no choice. Every year the OS gonna be upgraded, and the runtime definitely have to catch up. And especially these days, where every year they change the permission system, and especially to tighten up the privacy, there's a lot of things that we have to change.
Yeah.
So path of upgrade for mobile matters a lot. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, correct.
For mobile, it's basically always have to be latest, unfortunately.
Yeah. So the next one, let me close my tab before my computer crash. The next one is called Great Expectation, which I do not know what the hell is this.
It's a great expectation. There's a Python-based open source library for validating, and this is for data.
Yeah, it's data validation. Like, okay, I might use this for my other thing.
I probably need to check it out. I think because of the restriction of time, let's skip it. Then we probably study it. Then we probably come back to it. If we just talk about the things that we know.
What is K6?
The
load testing. Yet another load testing.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
I like Locust. But this one give more report.
Okay, I like WRK.
It's written in JavaScript. Okay, so
Okay. WRK has Lua scripting. Okay, it supports some of the latest newfangled like GraphQL and stuff. Still
I think this might be something that I may look at because
yeah.
they provide more of the reporting that is useful.
I'm a dinosaur. I'm okay with WRK for now because there are some just some simple Lua scripting involved to generate like report or some of the stuff that I need all the time.
So I actually use Locus because we can use Python on it, so it's just that the reporting is not too bad actually. It's not too
Whichever that is more productive lah.
correct. MLflow, we covered that last year, is a tool to it's actually a workflow to build machine learning. So it's actually for you to actually capture a machine learning experiment. OR2 is for optimization problem. So
I thought it's like OCR.
no, I don't think we're going to use that soon unless you run
we-
logistic company and all that. It's interesting, but not as well.
Combinatory
Right.
optimization might be useful for things that are based around algorithms.
Correct. So if you run a logistic company, definitely something useful. You want to plan. Actually, it's a common problem, but only worth it if big enough. If you want to plan your workflow.
Yeah, but I'm also a dinosaur. Like, what's the difference between that? That I understand there's a combinatorial optimization, but
Correct.
what's the difference with like some of the formal verification tool as well?
I don't know.
Let's
but,
check it out later.
Playwright is interesting for me because I have to do more tests nowadays.
Oh, there's a new UI test.
Yeah, UI
I've
test.
also found it easy to migrate from Puppeteer. So it's So it's a replacement of Puppeteer.
How does this compare with Selenium?
I don't think this is a Selenium. I base a lot of things like Selenium is very big because they have the engine
I think
to.
Selenium actually cares because as long as Selenium support it as an engine, it can still use it as an engine, right?
This is something like Puppeteer, not Puppeteer.
Puppeteer. It's there. Literally say they just wrote that there in the description. It's a
But this is something
replacement
you
for
code in
Puppeteer.
JavaScript It's something you code in JavaScript to test. So I don't know. What does it do other than the stuff from Puppeteer, but interesting if we need it.
Probably good for people that are gonna write tools lah.
Yep, correct.
Oh, okay. I see that it actually offers the Firefox engine.
Yep.
So Puppeteer is only Chrome, right?
Yeah. But it's possible.
So I think Tristan asked the right question because the comparison is because one of the thing that they advertise is Atomic Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit. So yeah, it's in a way like more comparison to that.
If your developer don't know JavaScript and only know Python, there's a Python support.
Not bad.
Yes.
So
If
how many
you
languages
come
does it
from
support?
Enterprise, they come from enterprise environment. You can even do C# and Java.
Okay.
Nice.
So it looked
Here's
like
something to think about. Playwright is something that definitely we should look at.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the idea.
Yeah.
Prowler, I do not know what is Prowler. Prowler is an information.
AWS. Okay. So it's a scanner for AWS setup.
Maybe I should do that. I think we know enough of our infrastructure.
Trial. These are marked under trial though, means that they are really bleeding edge.
Yeah, correct.
So duck typing, Playwright.
Pyrite. What the heck is Pyrite?
Checker. Yeah, the type the static type thing with Python is still a mess lah, in my opinion. Yeah.
So I discovered that, so off topic, I discovered that it's not easy for me to want to check whether an object is a type
Yeah.
of. I use SQL Alchemy. So are we checking against the object or you
Yeah.
check how about query? So how do I check that I'm passing a query to a function?
Yeah.
So that is a bit confusing to me. I want to support it, but once I figure out how to work with SQL Alchemy for now, so it will be easier for me.
So
now.
it's an alternative lah, static
Yeah.
type checker.
Yeah. So yes.
So yeah,
Then
I think this one can be shared to the Python group as well.
yeah,
So let some of the
uh,
people that really use it from day to day. try it.
correct. I do not know it's red dash.
You build it, you run it.
Oh, this is
Fine.
query data source and build dashboard. Okay, not so much for us.
It's more like a no code thing, right? Looks like
Yeah,
no
no code.
code. For people that for analysts that doesn't need to write logics lah. Like what
Yeah.
like the tools that you shared previously, and like what was that? Streamlit. Is that?
Yeah, Streamlit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, SQL editor.
Okay. Let's move on.
Terra test is the one that tests your Terraform.
Yeah.
Is that? Okay,
Correct.
really? Okay. So there's a lot more tests now. These days you have to test your config as well. So there's a lot of configuration testing from what I can see here.
And it's a good thing because nowadays infrastructure are not supposed to be more haphazard. Because at worst you really be very expensive, so you better test your configuration, your infrastructure configuration.
And Topo.
Yes.
Topo is I like options such as dual control with 2 mouse cursor and okay. Isn't tied to
This is
NLP.
something
I don't
for
know.
Mac OS.
I'm happy with I'm happy with VS Code for now. So I've shared.
Yeah.
There's a voice chat and everything, but these days it's okay to use an alternative like for the
Yes.
chat.
I think VS Code Live Share is one of the better pair programming stuff that I've used.
Correct.
Yeah, there's some on and off things that didn't work, but they've been smoothing the experience.
They've been improving it a lot. Like multiple cursors, for example, was really nice. You can see where the cursors for the other people are, so it's quite.
You can see which file they are open.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You can even if they allowed it, you can even run script on their computer.
Yeah.
and the one of the most important thing is the extension, like the language server actually runs at the whoever the host is.
Yeah, you can share ports, you can share a terminal, and you can share the language server. It's quite
because everything
scary,
runs on that machine. We don't have to worry about like it works on my environment, but why it doesn't work on yours? We just focus on making the code work.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Good to have alternative lah, but I'm happy with VS Code.
Yeah.
Why did you render? It's a library that
Yeah.
why.
For the render.
I don't know. This is might be a bit of hubris from my side. Is that if you don't know how your React lifecycle work, and be miserable. If you don't know why it's re-rendering, then it's a lot of problem. It's a problem that solve a problem that shouldn't be.
Yeah. So let's move on. This one is interesting. Without Podman is an alternative for Docker. If you use Red Hat, chances is you'll be having Podman by default. You do not necessarily get Docker by default. So
yeah,
I know some community member actually like Podman more.
For some
and
of those, actually,
what?
because it's the same standard, so container can run regardless. Like for some of our newer Kubernetes cluster, right? We don't even use Docker, but we still push our image and stuff to Docker. our own Docker registry. So it's still, in a way, there's a way to make it compatible.
And also, Podman has a good idea in the way that you can even do rootless deployment. So,
Yes, very important. Also, talking about rootless is that previously Docker actually runs itself as a root, even though so there's this security concern of, even though you're under, as long as you can run Docker, like you don't have to be in the root user group. So as long as you have the permission to run Docker, you can actually use via Docker to override things, like you can mount something, then you override the system via root.
correct.
But there is this rootless, check it out if you don't know, rootless Docker, so that you can run Docker without being on the root.
Correct. Something to check out if you really have to, because it's not a standard yet, but it's available. It's available. It's there.
Yeah.
GitHub Action, everybody know that. I'm going to skip it. Do you guys use GitHub Actions?
No, I'm not on cloud.
Not yet, but it might be interesting.
Yep.
I like GitLab Runner
Right. Interesting.
because
I do not know
GitLab
what the hell
Runner
is
is actually, the GitLab part only provides the GUI, but the runner is actually in our server.
right.
So it's actually it just serves the right balance. Like we want to control where that thing runs, because we don't want like other places to contain certain data, but it still allows that kind of interaction on the web page. So it's really nice.
Yep.
That part I really like about GitLab on the part.
So let's move on to the next one. This one I'm going to go through shortly. Ground native image is a way for you to build application for Java in native form, so that it's statically linked.
Yep.
So
Ground is also Ground is also the new runtime where they compile things. They support more than just Java.
yeah,
It's like a common runtime. Then supposedly I remember that there are ways to static compile it. It basically just bundle the runtime. So-
correct.
So this basically native image where you can compile your Java code into your operating system native binary.
Correct.
Yeah, it's an interesting project, but the problem is that a lot of the concern out there is because it's an Oracle project.
Yeah, correct. So
Yeah. But it's a really interesting one because it support as long as people support the, I don't know what you call it, the language engine or the something like
Yeah.
that, then even Python can run it and all that stuff. A lot of languages can benefit from that.
correct.
It's a very interesting project.
So the next one is actually boundary. We talked about that in one of our bus corner. It's a way to actually secure. It's a management service for your security credentials and infrastructure.
Boundary, yeah, we talked about it before.
Correct. This is interesting for me. I don't think I can adopt
But
it. It's
but
because
it's still more like it's actually not a tool. It's actually
a set of
how to
things.
call it? It's the core API,
Yep.
so that people can develop this kind of security and engine and stuff lah. It's
Yeah.
a very bare bone. It's just a core.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I actually have this view problem of sharing password between teams.
It doesn't solve that. It's the core. So you're supposed to write. You're supposed to develop. From what I understand, is you're supposed to develop something on top of it.
Okay.
So by itself doesn't really do much lah.
Okay. Image to code. So this one the generate code for AB. Image code is actually a service for you to generate design into code. So from
Okay.
deep learning. Yeah.
What really? Oh, that is.
Yeah, it's an old concept, but this one is not a product lah, so you
Yeah,
can actually
it's a wet dream for a lot of designers lah. But whether the code generator is nice or not.
correct.
Sorry, I shouldn't use the word.
Yes.
We nerds because recently we found out there are some words. So
Yes, that is inappropriate.
yeah. So something that we nerds have to get used to not using certain words.
Yeah, correct.
Well, maintain a balance. Okay.
Yeah. Longhorn is a block storage for Kubernetes.
Do you remember Windows Vista? I remember it was called
Yeah, it's called
as well.
Longhorn. It confused me.
Read
So-
write many.
So this is a block storage. I do not know why, but sure, it's useful. So
Distributed storage is actually a hard problem, and
Yeah.
and it's still a problem that is being solved because there are a lot of sacrifices you have to make. Like if you want it to be fast, then often it's eventual consistency, eventual consistency. And also, if you want it to be always at the point, then you get a really bad latency.
Yeah.
So if it's real time, always correct, like just like Cockroach DB, it will be slow. So yeah. So it's, and also when you run it on, and Kubernetes force you to be, because you run it on more, or the cluster is actually more than just one computer. So you have to make sure that no path or resources are being hard coded to like, unlike when we do it on bare metal. We can see your Facebook, Swimming. Swimming.
Yes.
I
What?
can see your Facebook.
No, I'm not sharing porn. But this is funny. This
Okay.
is so funny.
Okay. Let's have a look. We have
So next one,
Uh,
operator framework is actually a lifecycle for Kubernetes operator. I do not know what the hell is that. I didn't use Kubernetes yet. So yeah. Next one.
recommender.
Recommender is a service for you to recommend Google Cloud operation.
Yeah, not on
So,
Google Cloud. Google
Yeah.
Cloud. There's, you see,
WSL
cloud providers, they have too many offerings.
Correct. So it's
That
weird. So,
People cannot be, people need another tool to recommend, like, I want to do this. What should I use?
yes. Correct. WSL, we fanboy about it too much. I'm going to move on.
Oh, VS Code became aware of WSL. Yeah.
Yeah, you got better tools to support it, so
Yeah. And why remote as
what-
well?
correct. So I'm going to move on.
Have you
Spectral
tried?
environment-
I'm going to be sounding like a fanboy. Like, have you tried VS Code? I know that swimming you're not on VS Code, right?
No, I'm on VS Code when needed.
Okay.
So I don't
Okay.
because I
The,
don't buy
the remote
all the-
development is awesome.
Okay.
And often people misunderstand it is as the code is on the remote server. No, the runtime is remote. So we are actually using the another computers to totally run everything, including the
It's
extension.
as if you're it's actually using a lot of the SSH stuff, port
Yeah.
forwarding on SSH,
Yeah.
basically
And
running.
the port forward is so nice, and it powers to localhost, especially when we involve like Google Maps or all those API keys that only allow you to run on either localhost or on a what you call it, a qualified domain. Then
Mhm.
it is very useful as well.
Yeah, correct. So the next one is actually a linter, yet another
Spectral.
linter.
That is not the CPU vulnerability, right?
No. It's a tool for checking open API
It's a
standard,
C static.
I call.
It's a static checker for C. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Spectral check linter for YAML and JSON.
Okay. Okay. The description is a bit weird. Okay.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so
It's something that it runs in the background, mainly.
Yeah.
For
detect screen is the detect.
secrets.
Yes, this is useful so that if you commit password, check for it.
Yeah.
Confession time, I do commit password, but I only commit password.
You know how I stop people from committing password?
Yes.
I'm using scare tactic.
The only password
If you-
I commit.
Whoever, it's actually a very positive scare tactic.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody committed a secret, they have to buy lunch.
Oh, okay. But what if the password is actually the local testing?
Doesn't care.
Developer
They have
testing.
to. They have to parameterize it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
discipline. The security is a
Okay.
discipline.
Okay. I only commit my testing.
I call it the
password.
KFC. I call it the KFC rules because jokingly is if you commit it, you have to buy KFC for the office.
Let's move on. Zelly is a linter for Open API lah. So that the API style guy is there. Okay.
I thought that OpenAPI already has their own lint.
Yes, it's so
I don't
weird.
know.
I don't understand.
Okay.
Then AWS had their own code pipeline thing. If you use AWS,
Yeah, I'm not on AWS.
yeah, and I think that's about it lah. And we have 5 minutes left. We don't have the time
Yeah.
anymore.
Any question from the crowd?
No, but Odin
I think
is talking
Odin-
about
Yeah.
Odin is talking about the data center thing. I think the address thing.
Really? Okay. That is okay.
Language of framework will be interesting. Let's do that next week. Because they got
Oh.
one thing that I'm going with. Two
Yeah.
things.
Fast API is there. I see. You don't even need trial for Fast API. Fast API is easily.
Yeah.
Streamlit is fine.
Yes. But that's next week. So let's see how it goes.
Nah,
So-
for SS Flutter for web, I don't actually recommend it.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Unless your bank, it doesn't render HTML.
Yeah.
It works
But
like Flash.
I guess it depends. So yeah, and
depends,
it's
yeah.
if you want a Flash application, so it's not the form stuff, right? It's not you're
Yeah.
not expecting an HTML page. You're expecting like
Yeah.
let's say a game or an application that is like a Flash application.
Yeah.
Then that's what. you need to do.
Or it's a very design focused website. Basically, the niche that Flash used to fulfill.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a website. I wouldn't use Flutter Web
More like
for
presentation.
websites. Yeah, but it most likely it's a game, for example, or let's say
It's not
Like an
easy to create a game for Flutter. It's not easy. You can at most create a presentation.
I don't recommend it for web.
Yes.
It's nice, it works, but it is not web.
Yeah,
You-
it's
you
not a
cannot do
website.
stuff
It's
that-
not.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a website.
On the other hand,
you cannot copy and paste stuff from it.
yes. On the other hand, that's all from the technology radar. So another quarter when we talk about stuff that we forget about the next quarter.
I think if you do it every quarter, we won't.
Because
won't
every
be-
quarter there's a new thing. Very few things got remade. It's one of those things that I'm complaining about the industry. We have collective ADHD, right? We have collective attention deficit. So next quarter will be something totally different, and people forget about it. That's just me. That's my complaint. So next week we'll cover language and framework. Then let's see how to go after that now. And oh yeah, for those that is celebrating fasting, Selamat Puasa, I don't think we do it last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. Enjoy your fasting season. Hari Raya is just 3 weeks away. So yeah.
Stay safe. I see quite a lot of road accident lately.
Yes.
Stay safe. There's yeah, it's hard sometimes when it hits you because
Correct.
but as much as possible, things that we can control.
And I think DevKami Hari Raya fell on the DevKami day as well. Interestingly.
Not really on oh yeah, it is. I kept thinking DevKami was on Wednesday. Shit.
Yes. All right. We just say thank you for listening and all that. So I hope you guys like it. So shall we say goodbye?
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye, folks.
Uh,
Good night.
and podcast.